First thing I notice is, boom, they're using the Clay managed OpenAI account with 1 Clay credit. So this is costing them 1.6 cents. Using our own API key and 4 mini, we spent a grand total of 0.00114 cents. That's 16 times cheaper than what they spent. For that data set, you'd spend $3,200. And using OpenAI 4.0 mini, you spend $23. You could spend tens of thousands of dollars versus a few $100 for the exact same data set. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Stop spending Clay credits on AI columns in Clay. It's probably the biggest waste of money because you could spend literally fractions of a penny, a tenth of a penny or less using your own API key, or you could pay Clay 1.6 cents, which is dozens of times more expensive for the exact same thing. Mistakes like this I see all the time in Clay tables, and almost every single Clay table that I check. When I do free audits for folks like you, I just take 10 minutes of my time, I poke through your Clay table, and I find tons of areas of opportunity to save money and generate better outputs. In this video, I'm going to show you a Clay table that's trying to find managed service providers. This was submitted to me, and it actually happens to be that I've helped probably the leading B2B SaaS company that sells to managed IT companies with this problem. I'm going to show you what they did wrong, a super easy fix to save tons of money with one quick toggle of a different setting in Clay, and I'm going to show you an extra step to weed out a lot of bad sites that they did not implement in their Clay table. That's really easy. It's one additional API, it's dirt cheap, and it can really help weed out the junk from your account list. If you're interested in me auditing your Clay table to find areas of opportunity to save money, save Clay credits, and do a better job with your Clay spend, comment down below and I will personally review your table, send you a loom showing you all the areas where you can save a ton of money. And if you're okay with it, even post an anonymous video going through the Clay table like this. You can be featured on my channel, on my LinkedIn. It's totally free. I usually can save you 80 to 90% of your Clay credits. It's usually a massive saving, especially if you're enriching a large data set that could be thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in savings for free. Comment down below, and within 10 minutes, I'll be able to save you a ton of money. Cheers. Okay, here we are in the Clay table, and when I do a Clay table teardown, a free audit of a Clay table, the first place I check is their OpenAI columns, meaning Claygent and ChatGPT, because this is, once again, the most obvious place to save money. Now, if we head over here, we can see they have this Claygent column that's going out and looking for the products and services of this company to try and figure out if they sell IT services. Let's see what they have here. The first thing I notice is, boom, they're using the Clay managed OpenAI account with 1 Clay credit. So this is costing them, if they're on the Pro plan, 1.6 cents. Let me check. It looks like they are on a higher plan, so I would imagine they're spending about 1.6 cents per credit. Here you go. The exact same thing in my table for the exact same use case, trying to find MSPs. We used a services and products Claygent scrape to figure out what they sell and then bucket them into the right category. Using our own API key and 4.0 mini, we spent a grand total of 0.00114 cents. That's about a tenth of a penny, 16 times cheaper than what they spent. My client's total data set was 200,000 records. If you were to pay with Clay credits for that data set, you'd spend $3,200. And using OpenAI 4.0 mini, you spend $23. And that's just for one property. That's the Claygent research to figure out what they sell. That's not even the output. If you spent $3,200 per property or per column in Clay, you could spend tens of thousands of dollars versus a few $100 for the exact same data set. It's all about how you spend your money. And this is why people tell me Clay's so expensive. No, it's not. You just don't know how to use Clay. Or maybe you do, but you don't know how to save money in Clay. Whatever. However you want to say it. All of their AI prompts are using Clay credits versus using their OpenAI key. So that obviously is an issue, and I recommend they change that. Now, aside from that, there's one extra step that I think is quite important for the MSP market. And I think this is important for most CRMs. And I want to show you today how it works. This was not in the table that was submitted to me to check, but this is something that we implemented for our client in the exact same market selling to MSPs. And I want to show you because I think it's relevant for not just MSPs, but really any Clay table. If you're enriching your CRM records, you probably want to implement this step as well. That's going to be validating that the website still exists and it's still live, because for the MSP market, we found that 1 in 5 websites were actually not even working anymore, which is kind of hilarious because they're IT providers and they don't even have working websites. And often the sites that are live are pretty horrible. Before we did any other enrichments, check and see, is this website still even around or not? Because as you can see here, if we open up a few of these sites, a lot of them are just not live, and that's not going to be acceptable when we're spending money on enrichment. So the first thing we wanted to do was check the site status, and we did it using an API called API Void. And the pricing on this is quite cheap. I think we spent for, 250,000 credits, $83. So it's like insanely cheap. And we just implement this API. You just take the clean domain, turn it into this format with a formula, and then you can pop it into this API call. And it returns to you a bunch of different information about the status codes of the URL. And then we could just determine if the URL is online or offline, right? And so this is really helpful. Before doing any other enrichments, again, 1/5 of the sites were down. If you don't do this step, Claygent can't really figure this out on its own, and it will just start hallucinating and outputting bad results. And reps don't want to have an enriched list of broken websites, I'll tell you that much. So this is a really cheap, really easy preliminary step to run on all of your company records to determine if the site's still up or down. And I think even if you're not in the MSP market, this is a really, really helpful tool to validate your account and your CRM before spending extra money. It's super cheap, and it's a really quick true false on, is this an account that I want to go after or not? If you would like me to audit your Clay table, it will take me less than 10 minutes to find mistakes like this. I'm sure I can find plenty of them and really turn your Clay workflows around, make them much more efficient. So if you're interested, if you're on YouTube, click the link down below in the description. And if you're on LinkedIn, you can comment on this post and or go to my LinkedIn profile where I have a link to submit your Clay table in a type form, really simple, and then I can audit it for you and even make a video like this if you wish. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.